This is how I climbed 3k elo in 30 days in Smite 2. So I come from a Valorant background and my peak rating was Ascendant 1 in my last act. This was the most recent season before the current one, and as we can see from this chart coming up, that Ascendant 1 was the top 2% of players, and from this other little metric we can see that I belong in the top 1.57%. And if that's not convincing enough, also bench 225 pounds or 100 kilos for the real metric users. So something I'd like to quickly talk about before we get into the main things here is how I don't actually believe in elo hell. I really think this is just a case of your knowledge kind of being limited, and you need to start learning more about the game and how to evolve in the current matchmaking you're in. Elo hell is typically found in people that aren't really trying to improve, I don't think. Or maybe they are, and it's just, I think games, you will just have bad games. Like honestly, like you will go through a patch of losing, but it all will work itself out. Like eventually the where you are supposed to be will happen, and if you are someone who wants to keep driving to improve, that will happen to you. You will get them results. So what steps do we follow in order to rank up? Now, this is something that you kind of need to understand isn't going to impact straight away. Some of these things you could implement and see some sort of result, but you will not start winning straight away. However, onto the first thing I want to talk about is the 60-20-20 rule. So the 60 in this rule is games that we can individually have an impact in, something that we can do to change the outcome of the game, or our teammates can do to change the outcome. The first 20% is losses that are guaranteed to happen. These are things that are completely out of control of us. People leaving, smurfs on the enemy team, anything, or even disconnects. Like, these are games that you are guaranteed to lose. There's no question about it. The last 20% are games you are guaranteed to win. Now these games that you just will 100% win. The enemy will have a leave. You will have the smurf. You are the smurf. Like, these are games that there's not even a doubt. But however, they are the minority of this. Now the thing we need to focus on here is the 60%. This can put into perspective how much of an impact we can individually have on these games. Moving on to my second thing I'd like to talk about, which also can greatly impact the 60% rule, is being a team leader. Not only being a team leader, but a shot caller also. There are so many of my games where we are pretty much losing quite heavily, like mids into the game, but a call such as let's just stop taking fights and farm up more, or get a really good gank on like one of the higher level players, calling for a gold fury while they're at fire, or fire while they're at gold. Just doing something that gets everyone together and can change the game. A lot of people may not listen to you, but it doesn't matter. As long as you're trying to push for this team leader role, you don't have to be confident, you don't have to be like top fragger and that. You just need to be able to make a play and it stick and it work. This will come with experience. You'll make a lot of bad calls, you'll make a lot of good calls. Being a decisive voice in your team will greatly impact the outcome of your games. I've been before where we are on our Phoenix, we've got 2 Phoenixes down, and they've just called fire. We've all sat back, reserved our utility, they've all dived us, we've wiped them and end up winning the game. You have to make these calls to completely swap the game around. Not only this, but being able to call for certain item buys. For instance, asking maybe your solo lane to pick up the upgraded shell, or maybe asking for a shoguns, or asking for an aura item, just something that can benefit the team and just bringing a team play together. Another point that we can talk about, which is my third point here, is something that I'm not innocent to myself. I'm quite guilty of this, but is not being toxic to teammates, or not engaging with the toxicity within the team. I've found that if I can mute a teammate that's screaming down the mic or typing too much, if I mute them, they will not get the engagement they want, and ultimately may start playing better, they may start throwing. Minimizing tilting at your team will probably benefit your games. So many Valorant games that I've been in where the team has wanted to argue, but everyone's pulled themselves together and just played better, we have won. And so many Smite games where you have actual communication and not just shouting at each other, you also win. Trying to be a better person within your team, sounds hard, But trust me, you can do this. You do not need to keep calling out your solo laner or your jungler that keeps diving. Right? Maybe try and play with him. It might be a bad call, which is another point we need to talk about. Taking a bad fight as a 5 is a lot better than leaving that fight as to 2 people. Sometimes a bad fight is better if everyone's there. It might even play out. They might make a mistake. But leaving someone to die on their own bad play could ultimately cost you the game. Point 4, setting yourself realistic goals within the game. What I bet a lot of your tilt comes from when queuing is the fact that you think you need to be in the next rank now, and you need to be top player in your lobby consistently, how the other team needs to never ever be better than you. Now, these aren't things that are realistic. Understand going to a matchmaking that you are going to get put with different kinds of players constantly. Something that is kind of subconscious is that different kinds of players counter each other. So there's probably players that are very hyper aggressive, there's probably players that aren't aggressive and more tactical. Each one of these kind of counters each other. If anyone has played the game Jurassic World, I think it's like a part game on the mobile phone, you understand that aquatic creatures counter carnivores, carnivores counter herbivores, and herbivores counter whatever the yellow one is. This applies for game sense too. These different players will counter each other, and chances are is what you've got the best combination with on your team. Now, what you need to do is set yourself realistic targets. Now, realistic goals are, I want to be more of a leader in the game. I want to minimize my deaths within matches. I'd like to understand my matchups better. Now, unrealistic goals are, I want to hit deity in 5 days. I should be winning games. I should not be losing to these people. Certain things where I feel like they're kind of obvious, like realistically, you're not going to win every matchup. Now, my second from last thing here is conscious gameplay. Now, this is quite simply think about what you're doing. Don't let autopilot take over. Just think about how you're playing, what's going on the map, whereabouts you are. Are you leading? Are your teammates able to fight? I'm constantly checking to see if my teammates have ults up, see if my actives are ready. I go into my ranked matches making sure that I'm aware of what's going on. Like a lot of time you get home from work, school, whatever, and you're playing and you're just not all there. You just need to focus more in on what you're doing, have some stimulants, just think about how you're playing and your games will go significantly better. Now, the last tip I have to rank up fast is just to have fun. Enjoy the game. IQ, probably 80% of the time, not caring what role I play, what god I'm going to play, I'm just there to have fun. I'm going to enjoy it whatever I play, because I enjoy the customization in the game of the builds. Just enjoy yourself. The whole process of the game is to have fun. As soon as that's not happening, you are going to tilt and you're going to stress out your team and you're going to lose, which is going to make you mad and you're probably going to break something. So just enjoy yourself. So thank you guys for listening, and I really hope that in a rank reset you get the MMR that you need to gain and you can all hit new peaks, and we should all hit the top rank together and we can all tilt at each other once we're there. God bless, thank you for watching, see you next one.